Seven.
7 million.
7.
7 new.
7.
7.
7.
7.
7.
7 Point Highlander.
Hello and welcome to 7 Point Cast. My name is Liam and I'm joined by my co-host Mouse.
Hello. Very excited to be here.
Today we'll be speaking with Beckett W, the man who is holding the hopes and dreams of all LANs players around Australia on his shoulders. Beckett, how you going?
Hello. Oh, wow. That's a burden to bear, isn't it?
Well, I mean, you chose to play LANs. I mean, that's the true burden. But the reason why we're saying this, if you aren't aware or you haven't seen the Radnor's interview with Beckett as well, Beckett came top 8 at the Lotus Event playing mono green LANs. Beckett, how on earth did you do that?
How did I play mono green lands?
What is wrong with you? Yeah.
I just I just enjoyed the archetype. I do think it's strong. I think we're breaking down the walls that say that mono green is some sort of joke. Maybe mono green is a bit of a joke, but lands is a joke archetype. I think it's a really strong archetype. I mean, it's been part of the meta for a very long time. I used to play a lot of mid-range, like junk, and there were always land sort of style splashes coming into that. And we saw Icetail Explorer getting played in Jund and, just like a slight land splash. So I don't think it's too far-fetched to commit to lands. Lands converted pretty well. I actually am making that up off the top of my head now that I say it out loud. I don't know what I'm basing that on. Just vibes.
I think there was 4 of us in day 2. I don't know, and then only one of us in the top 8.
But interestingly enough, the ones which day 2 were all very different, right? Because obviously Beckett, you had the mono green lands. Liam had Eldrazi lands, which is we'll jump on board the mono green bandwagon with that. But was Cull, I think, just on the traditional green black?
Yeah, he was on green black. Yeah.
And who was the 4th one?
I don't know. I don't know who they are. I just remember seeing another fast bond in the top in day 2.
Yeah, fair enough.
There was a couple of breach bonds. They're honorary lands.
Also, it's been deep pointed lately, right? Like a fast bond is fast bond 1 or 0?
Is 0.
Yeah.
0. There you go. Fast bond 0 points. I mean, you could argue that's one of the strongest 0-pointed cards, if not the strongest 0-pointed card going around.
Over the last 3 or 4 years, lands received a lot of D points from Green Sun Zenith, Strip Mine, Fast Bond, Life from the Loam. They all went down. And it's still really struggling as a deck.
Says who? I heard it make top 8 of an event recently.
Yeah,
it's true. We're not in struggle street anymore.
yeah. Well, look, we won't be free until Gamble's depointed. All right.
Beckett has really cursed lands players. No longer do we have the ability to say, you know what, the deck's just not quite there yet.
Well, Matt, you're in the committee, right?
Yeah, I'm on the committee. Yeah.
Yeah, so you'd be victim to all the whinging that goes on. So there's no shortage of whinging, and maybe I've stifled that. Hopefully, I've stifled that. You've got a counter argument now, at least. Oh no!
Look, for the most part, I think lands players jumped for joy and rejoiced when you made the top 8. It's like it almost is like the scene from Arrested Development, where he's up on the stage being like, "There are dozens of us," like.
The lands community is really friendly, and I think really really cheering everyone. And like every time there's a lands player going for a win and in, or they're in the top 8, like the Discord lights up, with like the "there goes my hero" memes, and cheering. Yeah, it's a good group of people.
But look, one of the things which is really cool about the deck, which I do want to as maybe a first substantive conversation point, is clearly this is a different approach. And Liam and I have had the same, we're kind of we'd like to think of ourselves as rebels in the lands Discord, because our primary thing is, look, there's so much powerful stuff going on in lands, but the traditional green black has been done to death. Clearly, there's got to be another angle, and so we've done tons of different angles, like 3-color, 4-color, 5-color decks and stuff like this, and the Eldrazi one, which I think you and Liam played in the event to end all events. But clearly as well, you went with a different angle with mono green. Tell us the thought process. How did you arrive at this? And also even like 29 lands, which is, I'd say 3 above mean. So clearly there's a lot of stuff going on here, which is, not even meta within the off meta thing that is lands. How did you arrive at those conclusions?
Well, perhaps it's because I don't have a lot of experience in lands that I didn't have, the context of what is meta within lands to guide me. So I was just sort of making it up as I go along. And so I felt free from, the sacred rules. I think in Magic and in life, we have a lot of sacred rules that, we have to stick to. And then once you realize you're not like held by them, then, you're free to do what you want. And, I think that's how I got to 29 lands. Was I just assumed that was normal.
There is no spoon.
There is no spoon. We're getting through the looking glass here, people. I started the deck as a friend of mine. He's actually a new player. Played like a mono green Crater Hoof elf. It was an elf tribal deck with Hoof, and it was beating me, and I couldn't believe it because he's not like a competitive player. So I was like, this deck's really good. And I put it together, and I actually won just like a really small event with it. And it is a good deck. And then I was planning on bringing that to the Winter Lotus event. And then Ice Till got printed. So I added Ice Till, and then I added something else, and I can't remember what else. And next thing I knew, I was like, I think I had Crop Rot Urza Saga, and upkeep Crop Rot Urza Saga was really strong in the deck. I found myself constantly doing that to get it onto 2 straight away. And then I realized like the majority of my wins were through essentially like fetching up Urza Saga. And so I started slowly changing it. And the next thing I knew, I was like, this is just lands. So I added black for White of the Reliquary and Vampire Hexmage. And I think I had like a Thoughtseize Inquisition in there. And then there's just so many good things to do in lands, like Traveling Chocobo I wanted to add, and like Saz Chocobo, and Spring Heart Nantuko recently got printed. Bristly Bill recently got printed, Scythecat Cub. So those new cards then took the slot of those old black cards. And I was struggling to cast the Vampire Hexmage on black as the only, like, one of the seldom black cards. So I thought, well, it's literally now just black for White of the Reliquary, which is good, and you could probably still add. But that's essentially how I got to mono green. Was it started off as a very heavy green deck, then it went to a black splash. And yeah, I mean, I think the whole concept of like playing with multiple colors is traditionally, it's a bit, I mean, there's so many good lands now, it doesn't matter, but traditionally you dilute your consistency, but you increase your power level because you have access to more cards. And conceptually, I'm looking at my list and I'm thinking, I'm not diluting power level here. I'm not playing cards that I don't want to play, and I'd rather play, I'm red and 6 or some red card or some black card that I really like. Like, other than Rite of the Reliquary, that's the only power card that I'm like missing by diluting my colors here. So, that's how I got to mono green.
Oh, look, let me challenge that a little bit. I'm interested in. So there are a couple of cards here which strike me as prima facie not that powerful, but sell me on them, because these are cards which Liam and I have both had in our lands list before, but we ended up cutting. So, like, for example, Explore.
You're going to say Explore.
Yeah. Or we did like Explore for a long time, and we kind of go on and off this card. We actually play it's the green mana 0/3. What am I thinking of?
You're thinking of Zuzu's. Oh, you're thinking of a Boreal Grazer.
Yeah,
but we've
played a Boreal.
We also played Zeus's Many Journeys as well, which is a similar thing.
Yeah, do you know this one, Zeus's Many Journeys?
Is that the Saga?
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that card. I didn't test with it, but I had it in my maybe board.
Yeah, like we have played a bunch of those like kind of exploration type effects, and kind of a card they go hand in hand with a little bit is the like Chocobo Oracle Corsair, because really these cards like You know what I mean? Like playing one card off the top of them it's like it's fine, but where they really pop off is if you've got like an exploration effect, like the ability to get more and more lands. But at the moment we haven't been sold on them. How do you see them operating? Like, what do you need to make them work?
Yeah, I also like that insidious fungus. I want to try that.
Yeah, we like that
similar sort of car. Yeah, I just found the games I was losing. I had the tools in my hand to win and win soon, and it was literally just I needed to be quicker. I needed to get the lands. Like, obviously, I'm playing 29 lands, so a lot of the time I've got the tools I want. I've just got 5 lands in hand, and you can only play 1 land a turn in Magic the Gathering, as we know. So, yeah, it was just a really simple, like, monkey brain sort of decision where I thought the thing I'm struggling to do is to get these lands out of my hand. I even consider something like Mana Bond or something crazy like that. And also I found Exploration is a card I never liked. Fast Bond I had in that Hoof deck, because it's just so powerful, and I assumed Exploration is going to be significantly worse. And in testing, Exploration was really good, really, really good. So I just thought, if Exploration is like one of the best cards in the deck, Explore is going to be fine. Fine. I'm not really selling it, am I? If I'm a used car salesman and I'm like, it's fine,
Yeah.
You wouldn't buy, would you?
Well, look, one of the things which is like interesting, I think, might be an explainer is the 29 lands, because like I think Liam and I, and most lands lists settle around 26, and obviously cards like Explore and Oracle and Corsair as well. Like these cards get a lot better, if there are lands on top of your library, right? Like so, like I guess like 29 is a lot, right? Like, and we're kind of looking through and it's like, oh well, what's Beckett playing that we're not playing? Like, there's some stuff like Lair of the Hydra. Liam and I are not on Dark Depth stage, but obviously a lot of other lands players are. Like you're on Tranquil Thicket. Yeah, that's right. A lot of basics, and you're on Tranquil Thicket and the Peatland, which I think people usually choose which tribe they want to belong to. Like what, for example, let's just pick Lair of the Hydra. Like, is this a card which wins games? Like, what is its role for you?
Yeah, it's really good. It's really good. It's also good. I think it does a lot of work that is unseen. It does. Lair of the Hydra is clocking out at 5 o'clock technically, but is staying back till 8 p.m. It does work that you don't see, because a lot of the time you have so much mana and your opponent is playing around it. They're going, oh, I have to keep up a blocker, or I have to keep up a kill spell, or I can't be too aggressive because Lair of the Hydra swing me for 7 kills me here. And I won't do that because I've got better things to do, or it's not worth risking tapping out. But it forces your opponent to be honest. So I think it does more work than you realise. And I think a lot of the time you got 2-card combos, like 2 land combos, whether it's like Cradle Tabernacle is a nice little one I like, or Dark Depths Thespian Stage, or like, Maze of Ith Tabernacle or something. Lair of the Hydra is just a single powerful mana sink, and sometimes you have no cards in hand. It's just a tool that fits a slot. Like, there's various. We're gonna have, let's say, like 50 different styles of board state, broadly speaking. Some of those board states require more gas, and you've only got access to 1 land. Some require more gas and you've got access to searching up 3 lands, or you've got access to searching up these 4 lands specifically, whatever it is. Sometimes you just want one card. You've got access to 1 card. You need more gas, like a mana sink. Lair of the Hydra is the answer. Urza Saga fits that role a little bit, but it's not as much of a mana sink. So yeah, that's essentially what it's for. It's just as simple as there are times when I want a mana sink, and it's very cost effective at that.
Do you use it to for example, activate it for 2 and then natural order it away?
Oh, that's good. I like that. It's green.
That's way better
that's
than
really
Dried
good.
Arbor.
Yeah, that's really good. Let's do that.
Yeah, well, because Liam and I have recently returned to Dryad Arbor after a little bit of an absence, specifically because it turns fetch lands into, I just fetch land the Dryad Arbor and then natural order it away. But it occurred to me as you're speaking, I'm like, oh yeah, Lair of the Hydra kind of also does that, I suppose.
Yeah, no, I hadn't even thought of that. I don't know if it had come up much, but yeah, that's good.
Well, listen, when after this podcast we mainstream Lair of the Hydra and lands, we can add it to Kixian's like 50 plus lists of tips and tricks.
Yeah.
Yes, finally, someone else can have something relevant to say.
Yeah. I actually find that would actually happen really frequently because I find when I'm playing lands, there are so many times where I've got a million lands on the field and I'm top decking, and then I top deck natural order. It's like, great, I've got no creatures. I feel like that would be really incredible.
Yeah, no, that's where we just. I mean, look, this is testament to lands, though, isn't it? Because there's so many little things you can do. It's a complex deck. It's as far as potential goes, the like potential tree. There's a lot of things you can do. It can be a bit overwhelming. So there you go. We just discovered in real time. Well, maybe I discovered in real time. Yeah. Actually, now that I think about it, Mouse had discovered it previously and just told me about it.
Yeah.
Mouse shared in real time.
Right. Listen, let's another question we've got for you. So Liam and I have we have our decided answer for this, but I'm interested to hear what yours is. You cast natural order. What is your default get?
Yeah, prime time. Yeah.
Oh yeah, well done. That's what we say.
Yeah, but what do you get off the prime time?
It's completely situational. It's like what I said. It's just there's various things that are good for various situations. Yeah, anything from, like Echoing Deeps for like Field of the Dead or something like that. Tabernacle Cradle is like really good because the Cradle always pays for the tabby. So it just feels free. I mean, there's a lot of 2-card combos. You can just go raw gas and get, Field of the Dead and Urza's Saga will just put a lot of power and toughness on the board. Yavis, I get Yavis a lot to add a whole, like Yavis in Cradle will just increase my mana pool up to like being able to hard cast anything and everything. Even Walking Closet, sort of the Yawgmoth's flip on Walking Closet, like just big mana sinks. So Shifting Woodland as well. There's a lot of ways to spend your mana. So often I just want the mana. But yeah, I mean, it goes without saying, Dark Depths, Thespian Stage is obviously another big one.
Oh, yeah, that's true, yeah. We actually do have a default get. Like, our default get is usually Shifting Woodlands and Tabernacle. Oh, because they don't have any creatures, not Tabernacle, but usually just like, a defensive land plus Shifting Woodlands. So if the prime time dies, we just Woodlands the prime time and then go again. Yeah,
I actually was inspired. I think I saw Liam win a game with Shifting Woodlands. He copied Cradle. I saw this is an event ages ago, and it blew my mind. I was like, I'd never even think of that, because I think the opponent thought they'd wrap. I don't know if you remember this game, Liam, but it was at a competitive interstate event, and
was this at CanCon this year? Because I remember I played you at CanCon last year or this year, and what did I do? I almost threw the game.
You weren't playing against me. I was watching you.
Was it round one?
It might have been, yeah. It was going to time, so you had like know that pressure when everyone's like huddled around you.
Yeah, I recall the game. I was playing against I can't recall his name.
Jacob Dunn.
Jacob Dunn. Yeah, I've played against Jacob Dunn in round one for 2 CanCons in a row now, which is really exciting. We drew. I lost last time and then drew this time, but. Yeah, we were in turns, and I just Shifting Woodland a copy of it was like Crucible.
Yes, Crucible, yeah.
And then just
blew my mind. Yeah. I thought, why would you even play Shifting Woodlands? It's so cumbersome. And then I had like a penny drop moment. But yeah, I could have a bit more experience playing with it. It's one of those cards that is like daunting, I think.
It's actually funny you say that, because it was at that CanCon. I was 301 after throwing my round 4. And then I paired into you. I was like, oh my God, I'm against Beckett, the guy from the Adelaide Eternal videos. All right, here we go. And then my deck did nothing for 2 games in a row while you were you cast Ravenloft Adventurer, and then had a Spring Heart Nantuku on it, and then we're getting like multiple Ravenloft Adventurers. Like, oh my god!
Yeah, that was fun.
this
You
is
had
so
Ensnaring
embarrassing.
Bridge. You had Ensnaring Bridge, and I couldn't attack, and I Spring Hearted the Ravenloft, and I just went to the dungeon like 3 times.
Yeah.
And did the 5 life loss to you. I was having a great time.
I bet you were. Oh man. That was.
Don't tell the Lands players that I used to play Jund though.
Yeah.
They hate Jund. They hate Jund.
Yeah, Judd, we're not Judd fans over here. It's like the worst matchup. Actually, speaking of Ensnaring Bridge, have you toyed around with having like a Khan board? Like one of the things which when we played land, sometimes if the deck produces us like a lot of mana, we're like, just Khan. That half the sideboard's artifacts anyway. All you really need to put in the Khan board is Ensnaring Bridge and Microsynth Lattice, and you've got like a a very plausible threat.
Yeah, and you've already got other little interesting like Null Rod and Damping Sphere and Vexing Bauble. It's a good shout. I think it's definitely good. I mean, I based my experience on the like Legacy lands. I never played it, but I played against it. I don't know if you guys know Ollie Ox, but he used to play Legacy lands. I played against him a lot. He's a good player. And I'm pretty sure Legacy lands had Ensnaring Bridge in the sideboard. So it's definitely viable in my sphere of knowledge, but I would describe what you want to do in lands as do lands things, which is like produce ridiculous amounts of or have an inordinance of mana over your opponent, whether that's through ramp or strip mine. Like triggering chocobos and stuff like that. And I would argue that Khan doesn't do lands things.
Yeah, okay.
So conceptually it doesn't work, but I like it. I'd give it a go.
Can you tell me with the Chocobo? Like, Liam and I kind of joked before the podcast. It's like, doesn't this card just make you take 2 from Fast Bond? Like, what are the actual triggers which are kind of desirable to copy?
There's a lot, and it's easy to forget. This is one of the I practiced on Moto, so I had them do all my Chocobo triggers for me. And then when I played at the event was the first time I played the papered version. Which was again daunting. Chocobo, yeah, there's a lot. Like Field of the Dead triggers twice. There's what else? It's if a land or bird you control entering the battlefield causes a triggered ability of a permanent you control. So it's permanent. So it triggers like courser life gains and stuff. It's not just the land. It's if a land triggers another ability like Bristly Bill or Scythe Cat or something, or Springheart Nantuko.
Double mill from Ice Steel Explorer.
Double Glacial Chasm, as I learned in the event.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Doesn't it make you sacrifice 2 lands? I don't know. It feels like sometimes the land triggers are negative.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just like Glacial Chasm, really, and
oh man,
I suppose you get double Talon Gates.
Yeah, double Talon Gates sounds really nice.
Double Talon Gates is good. Yes. I for the most part, it's a good beneficial trigger, but you do have to keep on top of it.
Does it work with the saga? Like when Urza's Saga enters, does it put an extra counter on it, like lore counter?
No, I believe no.
Oh,
yeah, just from
not
from a judge rules perspective, but just from I tested it on Moto and that never came up, so I assume no.
Yeah, because it says as it enters, so I assume that's not when it enters.
Right.
It must be. That must be the explanation. I'll tell you what though, that would be pretty epic if it was just like Chocobo as a Saga 2. Oh, but no, sadly. Hey, can I ask about, for example, why you're not on any of the, like, speaking of lands things, why you're not on any of the like the big digs, like the Mulchers, the Winding Ways, the Ancient Stirrings, like the cards which grab like a land or occasionally something else.
Beautiful cards. I originally had Mulch. The deck was called Mulch. I originally had Mulch. Also, I mean, I know we're competitive players here, but I love the art on Mulch, the Rebecca Guay art. Yeah, it's a great card, and to me, Mulch itself is like a very iconic card. So I really did want to play it. I just didn't. It last minute got cut. So if I think for Malevolent Rumble, I guess I'm a person who would enjoy playing those cards. So I really think It's just like, for me, I just found testing it just competitively is just a bit too slow.
Is this the
Which
artist
is
talking about? The woman near the wheelbarrow?
Yeah, Rebecca Guay, yeah. I like the artist Rebecca Guay. So yeah, I would want to play it. I would love to play those cards. I think conceptually they're good, but they just lacked a little bit of power for me.
Well, actually, here's a maybe like a high level question for you, right? So this is we need the high thinking minds to answer questions like this. So oftentimes when people talk about the imbalance of 7 Point Highlander, the most common imbalance people love to talk about is blue, right? They're like, blue, there's just too much card selection. How can us mere non-blue gamers ever compete with the likes of Brainstorm, right? You hear stuff like this all the time. But if you think about it. Oh, the blue cards, the blues card selection cards, like often it is just based around Ponder, Preordain, Brainstorm. Like there aren't. It's not like there are 20 of these frigging things. There's just like a play set of them, and they're good. In this deck, you have access to plausibly a lot of quite powerful card selection, like similarly, like the Ancient Stirrings, but even like that new one, Commune with Bears. Do you know this one?
I know Ancient Stirrings. I don't know Commune with Bears. Let me.
It's just like single green. Look at the top three, and I think it's grab a creature or land. And you've got Once Upon a Time, which I think you are playing.
Yeah.
But like
there's Harvest. What's the one? It's like one green sorcery. You choose land or non-land, and you
and then you flip until you get the Abundant Harvest until you flip
that.
until
Abundant
you get
Harvest. Yeah, that card's good. Yeah.
And
so
don't forget Malevolent Rumble, Commune with Spirits, Commune with Dragon, or Dinosaurs. There's a lot of.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Do you know these other communers?
Cash Grab.
I've googled Commune MTG, so I'm looking at a few of them as we speak.
Well, the best one in our opinion is Commune with Spirits because it can grab an enchantment, so it can grab like Exploration or Fastbond, or I guess Walking Closet because you're on that one. But I guess like the question is, lands in principle actually does have access to a lot of like just pay one green card selection cards, but a lot of the time people don't play them. And clearly, like in some of these cards, maybe you weren't aware of, but some of them, like you were, and you didn't want to play them either. Do you think that there's a reason why just the game plan of green or something isn't hospitable to these types of cards, or are they meaningfully less powerful? Like, what do you think the answer to that is?
Yeah, I mean, I think that blue has more access to answer most questions in Magic, and we don't have we've got the ability to answer some questions, but we don't have the ability to answer most questions as lands player. I'm saying I'm assuming you're a lands player, Mouse. At least converted now. So I think we don't have.
I've got a foot in both camps.
Yeah, well, you're in the Discord, so you're a swinging voter. We could bring them on.
Put it like this: when I'm playing my blue control decks, I still put Tabernacle in them. That's
all right. Well, we'll say we then. So, I think we can't answer all threats. So there's no point if we were to play stuff like a Ponder package, a Brainstorm package, and we're digging for some sort of answer to what's happening around us, we might just not be able to find it ever. And most of the time, what we want to do to beat an opponent's good move, sorry, that's really poorly worded, good move, whatever they're doing, good board state, good tactic, is just do something better or do our thing quicker. And then it comes down to, is playing Commune with going to be fast enough? And the answer is probably, yeah, it's worth testing with. I'm looking at Commune with Spirits now. It seems really good. It's not like I don't have, like Sylvan Scrying, you could make the same argument for Sylvan Scrying or any of the things, but I think you want to limit it. It's not, you add more of those cards in, you're going to get a faster combo, but like a lower general power level, so yeah, I think they all seem pretty viable. I wouldn't shame anyone for playing any of them, even the ones that haven't been heard of. But I think it's that to answer your question more directly, that's that we don't have access to answers to dig. We just have access to higher power level to play, proactive power level. Yeah.
Yeah, so you reckon, and look, that is actually interesting because now that I'm thinking about it, I'm trying to think, when I play blue, do I usually ponder for threats or am I usually pondering for answers? And I'm going to have to observe moving forward, but That's true, right? Like maybe it is just the case that actually most of the time when people are digging, they're just digging for the thing which answers what they see. Whereas like I guess communing in the dark, like just playing at turn one, you might not even know what the matchup is. You don't know what the texture of the game is going to be, and so it is just more hospitable to the reactive game plan. Whereas I
think on that topic, sorry, ponder, like if you've got let's say you're playing Grixis. If you've got the Emperor Bones on turn 2, or you've got the Baragoi, and you want to be punchy and proactive, you're not going to ponder for a better threat. You're just going to play that really mana-efficient threat on turn 3 with your 3 mana, utilize your 3 mana. You're only going to be pondering in that case when you're looking for an answer to what they're doing. So I think that you are more likely going to be pondering for answers. Just only slightly, but I think you are inordinately going to be... pondering or brainstorm, digging for answers, because if you had the answers, if you had the proactivity in your hand, you would just play it.
Yeah, okay, yeah, that makes sense. Another angle of cards, like cards which Lyman and I don't play, but, interesting to hear your selling us on them, is the Bristly Bill and the Scythecat cub. I don't know, for us, when we play these cards, we're like, they're 2 mana 2/2s, they die, and then... like, what do we get for them? And even when they don't die, it's like a 2 mana 4/4. Like, who cares? But what's the good faith sell for them? Like, how are these cards going to take the game away?
Scythecat was one of those cards. Like I said in the Radnor's video, that I did a lot of my learning through reading the Discord, the Lands Discord. It's one of those cards other people sold to me as really good. And in fact, I saw it being played in random mid-range decks. And I thought, if it's playable in some like green, white, red aggro, even if the deck's not that competitive, if it's playable in that, it's surely playable in mine, where I can just play, 4 lands in a turn and just combo off. So I tested it reluctantly, and Scythecat in particular was really good. It was just, I agree with you conceptually. I was like, this isn't really what we want to be doing. Like, I don't really want to pressure life totals. It doesn't, the lands helps it, but it doesn't help the lands. But in practice, it just either always ate up like a key piece of removal, which slowed my opponent down because they were killing it early rather than doing something else. Like, instead of playing their Baragoi, they were, fatal pushing that and playing a 2-drop instead. And then, I got to say, every now and then, especially with Mox Emerald or Mox Diamond, it just like, I got a free, get a free win with it every now and then. If you play that on the play with Mox Emerald, which I did on the day, and then like untap Explore, it's just bigger than everything else on the board. Bristly Bill, pretty comparable, but slightly less powerful. But it just, someone else, in the Lands Discord told me to play it. I saw it around, I tried it, and I can't really make a good argument for it because my thoughts are the same as you. But in practice, it just works.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes these are the lessons of Magic, right? Like, it is just, it doesn't read that. It plays better than it reads. Like, that is a phenomenon. I wonder, though, like, what you're saying with the Mox Emerald, maybe obviously not most Lands decks are not Mox Emerald decks, and maybe this is a card which, its stocks go, a lot when you play it with Mox Emerald. Yeah,
I mean, you still got Mox Diamond. I think I said last time you could cut the Mox Emerald. I think you have to play Mox Diamond though. But definitely cuttable. The other thing that Mox Emerald does is you'll notice I don't have a lot going on turn 1. And maybe if you're playing a more budget list without Mox Emerald, you could add some of those 1-drop commune stuff because you're not doing anything else too interesting on turn 1. So I think you're right. I think you'd probably cut it if you didn't have Mox Emerald.
One of the things which Liam and I have been doing points wise, which has been a big, we've reckoned it's improved the deck immensely, is to play Ancient Tomb because there are so many like cards like Natural Order, Ice Till, Green Suns, but also all these like two and a greens. Like at the time when we're playing Walking Closet, the ramming up for your deck like the Chocobo and 6, and I mean we're a big fan of the Freeze Strata Lookout. Like there are so many of these cards which with Ancient Tomb just get so much better. Don't
forget too, the other Ancient Tomb synergy is Urza Saga turn 1, Ancient Tomb turn 2, or City of Dreams turn 2.
Yeah, to just we play City of Traders as well, just to really kind of chunk out the those there's so many of lands in that 3 and 4 zone, and Ancient Tomb and City Traders is essentially it's like a time walk. But it feels like kind of you've almost been at the same conclusion. It's just that you're doing it with Mox Emerald. You know what I mean? It's like
well, I don't mean to blow smoke, but you've obviously done your homework in this archetype, because pretty bang on. The one land I feel like I miss the most is just a nice, simple Ancient Tomb. Unfortunately, it costs a point right now. I would definitely play it. Remember how I was saying earlier that, let's say there's 50 realistic options. What do I want in any one spot? So many times it came up that I was like, I don't actually want, I like the stuff in my hand. I don't need any specific land. I just need to get this out right now, and I desperately want an Ancient Tomb. So yeah, you're absolutely right. I even considered City of Traders. Obviously, it's a bit of a nombo with playing lots of lands, but I even considered City of Traders to get under the point.
We like it because there's some cards where sowing Microspawn Titania in prime time, where if they come out a whole turn early, it's just like night and day. And the land which they get out doesn't make you sack the city, so you still end up with your big turn the following turn, if that kind of makes sense.
Yeah, it does, and I guess you could argue, that you'd then be able to get mana in Ordnance once you've resolved Titania. It doesn't matter if you're sacking a land after that, for sure. It doesn't matter if you're second a land with Titania anyway. But I agree. I do think a lot of the games you'll find are very, when you're locking someone, or Port, if you've played Legacy lands, the games are slow. It's exploration, port you, pass, port you, wasteland you, pass, port you, do this one drop, pass, and you're just getting every turn, just getting a micro advantage, and it stacks up because the game's so slow. I think City Traders is really bad in that, because you lose a card, like a card advantage card, and you lose 2 mana off the board for free. I think that'd be devastating in those scenarios, but in the scenarios you're talking about, it would shine. So I think it's a high risk sort of. I don't want to draw it, but I want to have access to it.
Yeah, that's fair. And look, we are also fellow Richard and Port enjoyers, although it's not mainstream in a lot of lands lists at the moment. We agree with your take that it's very good. Certainly because I don't know about if you've had this sensation, but when you play, the biggest downside to stripping them or wasting them is that it actually does cost you a land drop as well, and you don't always have the exploration. But Port allows you to advance your mana while denying theirs. And then the strip mine feels way better afterwards, because it's okay, now I'm, actually denying you 2 lands in the one go. And it feels a lot better.
Well, not just that. Sometimes you can just turn 2 port you because you had nothing else to do on turn 2, and then turn 3 cast the spell. So you effectively did a pseudo strip mine for 1 turn, and then you get to play your 3-drop.
Yeah, I'm sitting here nodding. I know you can't see my face, but I'm nodding along with my eyes closed. I'm having a good memory of doing exactly that, being like, man, this hand's so slow. But it's got port, so I guess I go turn 1 tapped land, turn 2 port, turn 3 this, and now suddenly with Richard and Port, I can keep a whiff 3-drop, which I think we would all agree is a bit too slow normally in Highlander.
Yeah. Have you done any experimenting with Behemoth Prime? Lime and I have been trying that one out recently.
You mean the Baloth Prime?
Baloth Prime, yeah.
I did. In fact, it recently got cut just right before, maybe a few days before the event. The card's certainly powerful. The 4/4s coming tapped, I found in testing, was a massive difference.
Wait, do they?
Yeah. They come in tapped.
Yeah.
But I actually, the first couple times I played it, I didn't realize they came in tapped. But
me neither. Yeah.
I don't think it
Moto.
matters.
That's Moto. Moto did it for me, and I was like, what?
I actually don't think the tapped matters. It's so rare that the blocking matters, and you're making such a big board state. You're just gonna kill them next turn.
If you have Zero Norball Safekeeper.
Well, yeah, but you're not playing the Baloth Prime. You're in a pretty dire spot if you're just running out the Baloth Prime and not doing anything. And, if the blockers mattered, fine. If you've got no Zero Norb, no Safekeeper, the Baloth Prime can sack lands itself and gain 2 life. So that kind of mitigates the lack of blockers, I suppose, a little bit.
Yeah, look, it's definitely good. I think it's definitely playable. Like I said, I played with it for a long time. It's very comparable with Titania. Like Titania is 1 mana more, but much more powerful. But I think you want at least one of those effects in there. You could probably cut Titania. I think Titania's there because of the natural order. So if I didn't have natural order, I'd probably want to just trim one of the manas off and make this more hard castable. But because sometimes I've got the prime time in my hand, Titania's the next natural order target. And look, Bale of Throne's really, really good. Like I said, I ended up cutting it just... I guess like it forces you to commit to that game plan with the Zero Orb, and it's not great otherwise. Titania's still great even if you don't have Zero Orb. Safekeeper, like it's still probably going to win the game.
I mean, Bale Prime turns into a 10-10. Like
eventually.
Well, in my experience, it happens very, very frequently. Like he enters with 6 counters, and you get 1 removed every untapped step. Between a fetch land and and 1 or 2 like activations of the Baloth Prime, that's 2.5 turns away. Like that's strong. And he's also really good just off of a shifting woodland. Sometimes you're just shifting woodlands, hit you for 10.
Yep, pay that, yeah. Oh, I never thought about that. See, I'm still learning. But also, we're already arguing over niche, like niche isn't the right word, but like finding room for cards. And remember what the earlier question was about, why mono green, and I made the point that it's stacked with playables. I mean, there's a playable that for me I really liked that didn't make the cut. I guess I agree with you, Liam, and I would say that's there's still plenty of even in mono green you're not limited in card choice because there's still a lot of really viable options.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that is a good point. Hey, like if you've got like more playables than spots and you're in one color, then you just reap the advantages of playing the one color and don't stress splashing.
That's an interesting Mouse. That's an interesting conceptual way to look at deck building. Maybe is what's the playable to slots ratio here. How many, like you could just count up how many playables are there in this archetype in these colors. Like have a huge maybe board on your Mox Field list. I'm just going off script here a little bit, but and then you actually count it and you go, if there's like 30 plus playables on top of my deck, does that make the deck good? Because now I get to have a better choice about my curve or something. If there's exactly 60 playables, maybe it's fine, but it doesn't give you a lot of choice in like how to design your deck personally. But if there's a huge amount of playables just in that archetype, it could speak to the strength of a deck, and I think that there is enough in this archetype and in this color.
Well, if you've got exactly 60 playables as a lands player, you're in trouble because we all know lands decks require 61 cards in order to be ready.
This is another one of those golden rules that I missed out on because I haven't been playing for a long time. A sacred rule.
I said this is more of a golden meme than a golden rule, but I think Beckett, while like kind of piggybacking off what you're saying from like another conceptual level, I think another part of that has to be how much extra utility are you getting out of the single colored mana base? Because if you are just looking at, for example, some like mid-range soup list, like compare for example Jund versus like Legends, like Jund in those Jundy colored lands. I mean, yeah, you could play, I guess, like Raging Ravine if you cut black or something, but like that's not really doing much for you. But with Legends, there are so many of those legendary lands that there's kind of like a payoff for being less colors. And similarly with land, like mono green lands, it's almost set up to take the greatest advantage possible out of the monocolor land base because the utility lands are about as powerful and diverse as you could possibly ask for out of a mana base. Like you've got removal, you've got threats, like like we're talking about Lair of the Hydra. You've got entire game plans in depth stage. So there's probably some sort of push and pull. I get on one hand like the playables versus slots, and on the other hand just like how how much utility can the land base give you? Because like, for example, just like resilience to Blood Moon and stuff is nice, but I don't know if it can single-handedly justify axing an entire color out of there. There probably needs to be something a bit more.
That's a very elegant way to put it. I never found I struggled. I don't have the lands in there, the forest in there really for Blood Moon. I think you could probably trim at least one. I think that's one of the secret sources of this deck. As a side note, that you think Blood Moon is a bad matchup, and I have tested against Blood Moon a lot and not ever come close to losing a game. Like, it just feels it's one of those conceptually it loses the Blood Moon. In practice, it just my eyes light up when I play against Blue Moon. It just absolutely monsters Blue Moon. I don't know why.
I agree. I agree with that. In my experience, Blue Moon is a really heavily favored matchup, but for like one or two cards in the deck if you're not prepared for them. But by comparison, I found Blue Black Moon to be way harder. Between the hand attack and the fact that
the graveyard.
Yeah, the hand attack in the graveyard, it's just absolutely backbreaking. You have to go on the board or not at all.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's one of those things where testing, like, you can have all the conceptual know-how, but sometimes it's similar to what we're saying about Scythecat, you just got to test it. It's really important to just play, because your concepts don't always play out in practice.
That actually might be a good reason for cards like Liam and I were trying to, one of the big things Kixian pointed out about your deck very early on is that there's so little interaction in it. Like when Liam and I build lands, we kind of almost have this, maybe we need to question this golden rule that like Deathrite Shaman, Emperor of Bones, Opposition Agent, Douthie Voidwalker, like these cards are just so unbelievably oppressive to play against. So many lines just shut down. And so we were thinking, well, we've got to have, we've got to have a Dismember. If we're in red, we'll play Bold. If we're in white, we'll play Swords. Cards like this to interact. But maybe a different angle of attack. And I don't know if this is something you've done cognizantly or if it's just just kind of emerged out of the deck. Is that your deck looks like it has just a lot more kind of non-graveyard centric lands combos. So stuff like the Courser and the Oracle, and even Primetime. Do you and that's why I was thinking about Scythecat as well, right? It's another one of those, well, you could play Rest in Peace, but my Scythecat card doesn't actually care. It will just beat you up. Do you think that's something which you found when you were playing the deck, that these cards did index you well against Graveyard Hate, or was it deliberate in the design from the get-go?
Yeah, I don't think it's particularly intelligent of me or pioneering of me to have diverse threats or not overcommit to a graveyard, for example. I definitely think about the graveyard a lot. Look, when I played against lands, I can remember hitting their graveyard with incidental Graveyard Hate, and I can remember losing.
Right.
It just wasn't like Deathrite Shaman. It just wasn't enough. So certainly I try to diversify my threats in that way. And you're right, they can play Rest in Peace and then they just lose heaps of momentum and you can Scythecat them or Chocobo them or something. I also cut, maybe I'm giving away too many secrets here, but I cut a lot of my graveyard interaction post board no matter who I'm playing against. I just cut, Life from the Loam is to game 1. You won't see Life from the Loam game 2, game 3 against me ever.
Oh, really? Interesting. We were always cutting the Walking Closet for that reason. I believe, were you cutting Life from the Loam?
No, I really like Life from the Loam because it's one turn faster to get the engine going for a strip lock.
Yeah, don't ask me why. I mean, they're all pretty great. They're all, pretty much relying on the graveyard, right? It's not like Life from the Loam is slightly better against Graveyard Hate than Walking Closet. Graveyard Hate shuts it down. Let's be honest. But
no, I agree. But it's one turn faster.
Yeah, that's
or
true.
You can very frequently, if you expect Graveyard Hate to be happening, you can sandbag the strip mine till turn 3, and then on turn 3. Strip you and then immediately Life from the Loam it back. That way you're guaranteeing 2 strips. You're at the cost of losing your Life from the Loam, whereas you can't really do that with a Walking Closet or a Crucible of Worlds.
So many good little, maneuvers, isn't there? It's the perfect deck for a tiny little. Cute's not the right word because it is powerful. Just nice little tricks or something like that. But yeah, anyway, yeah, I mean, whatever it is, I cut some sort of graveyardy interactive thing, or something that graveyard interaction would dominate in my sideboard. So
yeah, that makes sense.
But yeah, you're right. Like there's a lot that's not graveyard. You know, like how do you? Yeah, if you took your turn, if I'm on the plane, you took turn 2 to play Rest in Peace, and I just play Traveling Chocobo, and now, you know, I'm like pressuring you a lot. Like I'm just skipping. You're skipping a whole turn to do that, and I can probably find a enchantment removal as well as the game goes on, and it's not hard to fill your graveyard up. Especially these games go long. This is a grindy deck. These games go super long. So, yeah, I found like if I'm playing a walk-in closet, even if they're playing Graveyard Hate, like eventually, you know, let's say it's Deathrite Shaman or Soulguide Land, like eventually I am going to get value out of it. It slows me down, but I probably am still going to get some value out of it because I'll go to like get a Strip Mine back, you'll hit it, and then 2 turns later I'll fetch and get it back, get something back. So... yeah, Graveyard Hate I definitely am scared of, but it doesn't shut me down, I don't think.
One of the things which Liam and I have recently gotten onto is Ghost Quarter, and the reason is that like I don't know if you've ever had this experience, but they've got the Death Ride or the Douthie or whatever, and you feel really bad about using the Stripper Waste because it's like, well, how can you know? I want to slow them down on mana. Like I know this will disrupt their game plan, but it will also completely remove an entire angle of attack from me. You know, if I want to Ice Till later or something. But we were like, you know what? If we have Ghost Quarter, like you can still strip and waste them early, but then you can always just combo them off with Ghost Quarter later. Because if you're doing like 40 of them, it doesn't matter if them getting any basics.
Yeah. I see. So you're saying that you don't want to partly you want to save your strip mine for like a true lock.
Yeah.
But you don't need to do that because Ghost Quarter can do the true lock.
Well,
yeah.
I thought that was only the subsidiary observation. I thought the inciting observation was that fetch lands are not as good with the like a fast spawn Crucible start as you think they are, because a lot of the time if you get like the fast start where you've got a turn 1 or a turn 2 Crucible fast spawn thing, it's like, okay, I'm going to go fetch, and I don't want to be caught in hand where I've got the Crucible fetch land but I can't do anything about it. Getting a whole bunch of extra mana unless you've got something to cast is pretty meaningless, and I've lost a lot of games where I've had the turn 1 Crucible fast bond and then just petered out and done nothing. Whereas the best thing to be doing is going strip, and having Ghost Quarter is a third version of that strip, and it doesn't matter. You're losing a little bit of extra life, but that's fine.
I suppose that's another benefit. But yeah, no, I was definitely more talking about what Beckett was saying with the true lock, but also because it's like, I mean, you're on Chasm in the main, and maybe I need to get back on Chasm, but I feel like sometimes the only way to actually deal with a wide board state is just to have Tabernacle and kill all their lands. And, you know, like you're saying, there's like often a grindy back and forth where they're tapping out every turn to keep their stuff alive. But if one of their things is Douthie, I'm either waiting for Talon Gates, so I can just Talon Gates the Douthie away and then do it, or I want to, you know, try and nickel them dime a bit early, and I want to feel okay about using that first strip or that first waste because it's okay. Ghost Quarter will be the thing which then completely locks them later. Otherwise, I'm just sitting on the strip and waste, you know, wanting it not to be exiled, basically.
You got to get back in the Chasm, mate.
Yeah.
you got to get back in the Chasm. It does it all. Like, it just is, you know, it's anti... It just, yeah. You got to get back in the Chasm is the short answer to that. Yeah, I mean, Chasm doesn't beat Douthie, I suppose, but look, I let the cards fall where they may. You know, if I draw a strip mine, I'm stripping. If I not like, oh, I see strip mine, I strip mine you, but like if I draw, you know, an aggressive hand, I'll play an aggressive style. If I draw a locky sort of hand, I'll play a locky style. If I draw something in between with a Scythe Cat and a strip mine, I'll Scythe Cat and strip mine you. Like, I'm not like saving things up, and I think that's, you know, in my discussions with the Radnors guys about Dismember, it was a similar sort of thing. Like, I know my game style. I wouldn't find myself personally saving Dismember up for Douthie or Opposition Agent. I would just be like, oh, I've got a Dismember. How do I best utilize this turn or the next? I guess I'm looking like 3 turns ahead, maybe. So like, not saying like I've got this massive chess brain. I'm saying I'm looking 3 turns ahead, not 10 turns ahead. So like, just in
But
case
that could be
came,
correct, right? It could be.
so that came across as like really, self-important. Yeah. So
I agree with you though. It's almost like what those bell curve memes of like the NPC followed by like the Jedi or whatever. It's like, it's like I think 10 turns ahead. It's like I think 3. What was it? It's like I only think 1 turn ahead, and then the middle is and then the middle is I'm thinking about my whole game plan, and then the late game is just think 3 turns ahead.
Yeah, it is. And so like I know my game style, I would never save up Dismember for like 1 hour, especially in Highlander, unless like I'm just so far ahead that I can't. Maybe it's respect to your opponent where like I know they're going to be developing and doing things, and there's no shortage of threats. There's no shortage of good things to be doing in Highlander. So I know they're going to be able to establish something and kill me outside of that. I don't think I'm so much better than their deck that's the only thing that could possibly beat me. I think that's arrogant.
Yeah, that's a good point. Sometimes it just does take a creature on the board attacking you a few times.
Yeah, like Darcy can kill you,
Hmm.
Yeah, I think it's a dumb, stupid, idiot creature that shouldn't be a threat to us, but is sometimes.
I feel like we have, in many ways, explored, pardon the pun, a lot of the angles this deck has to offer. It's been a lot of fun. Do you have any other kind of parting Highlander thoughts before Lime gets into some quick questions?
No, nothing generic. I'll ramble if I start talking about Highlander too much, so we can shoot off with the questions.
Ramble for us for 10 minutes. I actually am curious because obviously you've been in the game for a long time, and there's I've really enjoyed the videos and stuff you've done with Saab over the years.
Oh, thank you, mate. Thanks.
Well, one of the motivations for Lime and I starting this podcast is that when you're new to the format, it is actually in many ways quite intimidating. There's so much. And those old Adelaide Eternal videos were for a while, it was it, that's what you could, get for a bit of intel.
Yeah, I've watched so many of those videos over and over and over again. They're all really, really good.
Oh, thanks, guys. I really appreciate that. So I've put in a lot of work for the education. Sav and Drew put in a lot of work for the education stuff. But yeah, I mean, like I said, some of my best memories, even just outside of Magic, is just sitting around doing what we're doing now, just deep diving on some concept. I remember us just doing a deep dive on Sylvan Library, just some innocuous card, and you can spend half an hour talking about it. Just honestly, some of my best memories is just hanging out with my team and chatting. So yeah, I really appreciate that. That's sweet. Oh I found this intimidating, I got to say. Even just this, I've been playing Highlander, I think for about 10 years. If not more. I've been playing Highlander a long time, and even me, who is someone who socially I'm very well established in the community, I found it intimidating to sit down with this deck because I was like, I'm gonna miss a trigger, I'm not gonna know that I could go infinite here and I'll look like an idiot, or I just won't have the format knowledge to play it. And so it must be tough for new players to sit down and sleeve up Highlander. But yeah, here's one parting thought. I've been so impressed with the skill level of everyone. All my opponents all day in the last few years, there's no free wins. Everybody comes with really good decks and really good play style demeanors. I've just been really impressed with the quality of Highlander.
Yeah, I think you're right. And I think Highlander really brings it out of people as well. I certainly remember there was a time where you'd play against certain people and somewhat arrogant, but thought of I just can't lose. No matter what happens, I'll find a way to thread the needle here. But that is definitely not the case anymore. In general, I think a lot of the content and the ideas and the sharing, the level has just increased so much everyone, you get people coming with totally off the wall creative stuff and they just kill you with it. And you're like, okay, well, you've got to respect every opponent, respect every deck, because they can come off with stuff which is just
well, there's such a card pool, right? That these wacky combos, you could lose to some Rest in Peace Helm of Obedience combo. It's still good. It's a 2-card combo that kills you. There's so many of them that you got. I think what the term you said, respect your opponent, is really, I think, in a nutshell.
Yeah. I was gonna say as well, when you said Sylvan Library, that got my feelers thinking again, because one of the big things I've always disliked about Corsair and Oracle, I'm like, I play these cards by Brainstorm, so I could put the lands on top. But with Sylvan Library, we could put the lands on top. It's
Brainstorm every turn.
That's right.
Play 29 lands, Mouse. Play 29 lands, and then you'll always hit 50% of the time.
Look, you'll get me at 28 and Sylvan Library. So.
Is it going to be Glacial Chasm? You got to add it.
Yeah, well, I'll find room for a Glacial Chasm. Because that's not really land, that's a spell, that goes in my spell pile.
That's true, yeah.
All right, well, Lime, do you have some quick questions to wrap us up?
Yeah, I do. So I'll start with one that I've been asking everyone. What Universes Beyond franchise or IP would you most like to see get converted to a card? Like, what franchise do you personally like?
Oh, well, do you know what? Avatar: Last Airbender is actually like I'm a big fan of Avatar: Last Airbender, and I was worried when it got released that it's going to be one of those things where it's like, oh no, like don't ruin this thing that I love. But I've been playing Standard, and I gotta say, I'm converted. I've been enjoying it. They got me. I've been really enjoying playing with Avatar cards.
Yeah, and look, I've got a 4-year-old, so I've been showing her Avatar: The Last Airbender, and
it's
she
beautiful,
loves it.
Isn't it? It's gorgeous.
Oh, it's just great, Although it's funny the different things they appreciate it, right? Like she just wants to watch the episode, like episode 1 where they find him in the iceberg, right? Like
just over and over.
Yeah, pretty much. I'm like, no, we've got like 2 more seasons to go. She's like, but can we watch the one where they go on the ship and they find him in the iceberg?
Oh no!
But look, but the other funny thing, as I've been watching through again with her, is realizing how much of the Avatar Magic set is like based on just season 1. Like, there's almost a card. I feel like the developers were just trapped in a room and said, just watch this and then make a card. And it's almost like they've made a card out of every episode. And then like the second half of the set is just a hodgepodge of seasons 2 and 3.
Yeah, and I worry that they had like too many legends, because if you introduce a character, if you're having an IP, they're characters, right?
Yeah.
Like if you're basing it on whatever SpongeBob SquarePants, like SpongeBob's going to be legendary. Like you've got all these characters, so like I was like, oh, they're going to have too many legends. But no, I mean, it's from what I can tell so far, it's a pretty balanced set.
I think they made a couple of intelligent decisions with Avatar, particularly. Like, unlike Spider-Man, where it's like Spider-Man had like, I don't know, like 12 different iterations or something. It was all the same character. At least with Avatar, I think there was a couple, and they just added extra modes in by doing the flips. So, like you could have 4 avatars, but instead of being 4 cards, it would be like 2 cards which flip. And similarly, the old legends, like the old characters, they just put them all on sagas. And then, saga, they can be legendary sagas or whatever, but it's a different feel to a legendary creature, instead of having Avatar Roku as like a legendary creature, you could have the legend of Avatar Roku.
Yeah, it's smart.
Yeah. So maybe they've learned, maybe Wizards is learning things, but yeah, I've loved Avatar a lot.
And then the second and final quick question is, what yesteryear 7-Point Highlander archetype do you miss the most?
I do like Tinker Blightsteel. That was one of my first ever. I played Mono Blue. I think it was 3-pointed Soul Ring, 4-pointed Tinker was the deck. And you don't see too much Tinker outside of like a Bolas' Citadel these days. So,
and if it's not like Thundering Titan, like...
Yeah, so like a classic like Tinker Blightsteel, like Mono Blue artifacts, but not in its current shell. Like artifacts is obviously very prevalent, but just like... Yeah, man, I had this deck was nuts. It was so bad. It was like Arkham Dagson or something. Like, it was just not a good deck. It was my first attempt at, and I couldn't understand why I was losing.
I remember, I don't know if you remember this, but I remember when Colin, when Kuditha Forge Master was first out, and there were these artifact decks where it was like, you'd play like the Soaring into the Monolith. You do anything you can just to get Kuditha Forge Master and Lightning Greaves on the field. Attach the Lightning Greaves to the Forge Master. Forge Master the artifacts away except for the Greaves. Get the Blightsteel Colossus. Put the Greaves of the Blightsteel. Like it was like
Greaves is that bell curve thing as well, where it's like when you first start, dumb people think Greece is good, middle people think Greece is bad, and then like the enlightened brain, like playing Greece with Nadu or something, is picking down. I also like I had this really cool Time Vault Pestamite list. It was like a like a Splinter Twin deck with Time Vault, and you'd get incidental extra turns through the untaps. That was a sick deck. So I miss playing with that. Just not quite powerful enough these days.
I know the one with like the Revy. That deck might be like up there for like most frequently mentioned anecdotes of decks passed by specifically me. So I'm glad I'm not the only person.
Cool. Yeah, and if I've got time, I'll just make another quick thank you to everyone who sort of helped me. You know, the Highlander, the Lands Discord, and Sock lent me a few really key cards like Tabernacle and Cradle and Mox Diamond, which I didn't have. And just, you know, my Adelaide Eternal team and the Adelaide crew were very, you know, helpful and friendly on the day. So yeah, thanks to everyone.
And
thank you for coming.
Will you
on
be
the podcast.
back for CanCon? Are you coming down for CanCon?
You know, I've been testing Standard actually. Sorry. And I want to go to the RCQ, which actually, now that I think about it out loud, that's in May in Adelaide. So when's CanCon?
It's on Australia Day weekend. It's on the Saturday of Australia Day weekend.
I'll try to make it. What about that?
Yeah,
no promises. I got to check my work schedule. I've been traveling a lot for Magic.
I know it's a bit all-consuming sometimes. It
is, yeah.
But
when you're in the world, you're like, all I want to do is play Magic, and then you're like, I'll end this interview, and I'll be like, oh yeah, the real world. There's things outside of Magic.
Yeah.
No, it was actually funny. I'm currently, you know, taking a break from the real world. I'm on like a family camping trip, but I've just driven up to my mother-in-law's house to record a couple of podcast episodes and go back. And my mum is, you know, saying to me, so what is exactly that you do here? You know, like, and I like show her like 5 minutes of it. And she's like, so you talk to other people and it's all just completely incomprehensible to anyone in the real world. It's just like, well, it's comprehensible to, you know, the Magic community.
It's just gobbledygook to other people, isn't it?
Yeah. All right. Well, look, thanks very much, Beckett.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, thanks everyone else for listening. Please follow us on Spotify and or YouTube. And if you've got a deck or an archetype or some format ideas which you're passionate about, please reach out to Liam and myself, because we're always looking for new guests and we love having them on. And thanks for everyone for coming. We'll see you guys next time.